In the 1870s, prospectors were invading the mountains of Colorado for gold, silver, and other minerals and gems. The Ute tribes were mostly run out of Colorado under a campaign slogan, quote, "The Utes must go," end quote. All their lands except for a strip of land on the southern Colorado border west of Pagosa Springs. Why Forrest says, quote, "Why must I go?" end quote, "Because the white man wants their gold." Trails of tragedy and triumph, the Ute tribes in Colorado's gold rush. The rush for riches, a prelude to conflict. As we delve into the history of the sacred tribal lands, we cannot ignore the impact of the rush for riches that took place in the Rocky Mountains. The allure of wealth and prosperity led many to venture into these lands, seeking fortune and opportunity. However, this pursuit of riches came at a great cost, as it ultimately became a prelude to conflict. For the Native American tribes who called these lands home for generations, the arrival of prospectors and settlers meant the encroachment upon their sacred territories. The once peaceful coexistence was disrupted as tensions rose over land rights and resources. The clash between the desire for riches and the preservation of tribal lands created a volatile environment that would eventually erupt into violent confrontations. It is important to recognize the complexities of this chapter in history, understanding the motivations and struggles of all parties involved. The rush for riches was not just about material wealth, but also about the clash of cultures and the fight for autonomy and dignity. By acknowledging the impact of this tumultuous period, we can work towards a greater understanding and reconciliation for the future. Mountains of Opportunity, the mineral mania of the 1870s. As we reflect on the mineral mania of the 1870s, we cannot ignore the impact it had on the sacred tribal lands of the Rocky Mountains. The rush for minerals and riches brought forth a wave of change that forever altered the landscape and the lives of those who called these lands home. It's important to approach this period with empathy and understanding, recognizing the complex emotions and struggles that arose as the demand for resources clashed with the sacredness of the tribal lands. The Rocky Mountains, once a place of peace and tranquility for many indigenous communities, became the epicenter of a bustling industry that sought to extract the wealth hidden within its depths. For those who cherished the land as their home, the influx of miners and settlers brought both opportunities and challenges. The allure of wealth was undeniable, but it came at a great cost. As we delve into this chapter of history, it's crucial to acknowledge the resilience and strength of the indigenous peoples who faced displacement and devastation. The mineral mania of the 1870s serves as a reminder of the intricate relationship between progress and preservation, and the enduring importance of honoring the sacredness of tribal lands. A cry for justice, the Ute tribe's displacement. It is with a heavy heart and a deep sense of empathy that we reflect on the displacement of the Ute tribes from their sacred tribal lands in the Rocky Mountains. For centuries, these lands have been a source of sustenance, spirituality, and home for the Ute people. The mountains, rivers, and forests have not only provided physical shelter but have also been intrinsic to the Ute way of life, serving as the backdrop for their sacred rituals, traditions, and communal gatherings. As we consider the displacement of the Ute tribes, it is impossible not to recognize the profound injustices that have been perpetrated. The Ute people have been forcibly uprooted from their ancestral homes, their connections to the land severed in the name of progress and expansion. This displacement has brought immeasurable pain and loss, as the Ute people have been torn from the very essence of their identity. It is essential that we listen to the voices of the Ute tribes as they raise their cry for justice. We must amplify their stories, honor their heritage, and advocate for the protection and restoration of their sacred lands. The Ute tribe's displacement is not just a historical event but an ongoing struggle for recognition, restitution, and healing. Let us stand in solidarity with the Ute tribes, acknowledging their profound connection to the land and advocating for their right to reclaim what has been unjustly taken from them. The infamous campaign, "The Utes Must Go." As we reflect on the painful history of the forced removal of the Ute people from their sacred tribal lands in the Rocky Mountains, we cannot help but feel a deep sense of empathy for the hardships they endured. The campaign to uproot the Utes from their ancestral home was not only a violation of their fundamental rights, but also a devastating disruption of their way of life. It is crucial for us to acknowledge the immense impact this had on the Ute community, as they were stripped of their connection to the land that held great spiritual significance and cultural importance. The trauma of being forced to leave behind the only home they had ever known is something that continues to resonate through the generations. It is a stark reminder of the injustices faced by indigenous peoples throughout history. Despite the adversities they faced, the Ute people have shown incredible resilience and strength in preserving their heritage and traditions. As we strive for reconciliation and understanding, it is important to honor the enduring spirit of the Ute people and work towards creating a future where their voices are heard and their sacred lands are respected. A fragmented heritage, the Utes' remaining lands. The Ute people's heritage is deeply rooted in their sacred tribal lands, nestled within the breathtaking Rocky Mountains. For centuries, these lands have been the foundation of their culture, serving as more than just a physical location. They are the embodiment of their identity and history. Sadly, due to a long history of displacement and fragmentation, the Utes' remaining lands are a fraction of what was once their sprawling home. Despite facing numerous challenges and injustices, the Ute tribe continues to uphold their traditions in connection to their ancestral grounds, striving to preserve their culture and reclaim what is rightfully theirs.